Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Version 1, a podcast where interesting people come to talk about their creative processes, imposter syndrome, inspiration, failures along the way, and much more. I'm your host, Waverly. We are at My Friend's Basement Podcast Studio in Bushwick, Brooklyn. Follow the show on Instagram at Version 1 Podcast. Subscribe to our Substack, version1podcast.substack.com. And you can find me on buymeacoffee.com/Waverly Colville. And listen to this episode normally or head over to YouTube to watch the video version and leave us a nice review. All right, for this week's episode, I am here with travel journalist James Barrett, aka Jimmy Rocks. James, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you. I've been a subscriber to your newsletter for a very long time, and you're very inspirational. So I'm excited to get into all this with you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Could we just start with having you introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name's James Barrett. I'm from New Jersey, also known as Jimmy Rocks online. That's what I call my newsletter as well. And I am currently a travel journalist. I had a past life in advertising as an art director, and I cover a wide range of stuff. I like adventurous stuff. I'm scuba certified. I'm certified in mermaiding. I've been to all 7 continents as of last year, and I left the country for the first time when I was 27.
I am so excited to get into all that with you. Yeah, like I'm a big scuba diver as well.
Oh, no way.
And as I was preparing for this, I was like, okay, I can't make half this interview about scuba diving, but I definitely have a couple questions because I love scuba diving. And so I'm so excited to get into all of that with you. Have you always wanted to be a journalist, or what did you want to be when you were a kid, when you were growing up?
I feel like it was always, looking back, it was always kind of there. When I worked as an art director, that's what I actually went to school for. I went to Syracuse University for communications design. So it's not just graphic design. It's concepting, ideas, stuff like that. So I worked at an agency for 6 years and then kind of went rogue. But looking back, I was on my school newspaper for a few years. I enjoyed writing, but kind of more the graphic side of it. I had a subscription to Rolling Stone. I always wanted to work at Rolling Stone, but not as a writer, more of a creative director.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So the writing was always on the wall of you were always this creative sort of storyteller.
Yeah. So storytelling, just kind of a different medium,
Uh-huh. Absolutely. And then could you tell me about your grandma and how your first piece kind of brought you more into the journalism side of storytelling?
Yes. Yeah, I can. So I was working in advertising, and I was very close with my grandmother, and she had Alzheimer's. So I wanted to write something because there's so many just stereotypical things about Alzheimer's, and they don't remember you, so you shouldn't go visit. You shouldn't feel bad not going and being there and whatever. So I used to commute to my job, so I would take the train. So I'd always just kind of open my laptop, write on the train. So it was almost timed. Wouldn't write at home. And even though the commute kind of sucked, you get a lot done, because when you're home you could do a million things. So when you're on the train, you can write or read or just sleep. But yeah, so I spent 2 months writing this story, and I just blindly submitted it to the Huffington Post when it was still the Huffington Post, and they had a submissions, and it got published, and that was really, really awesome. So I kind of think giving the top line version of it, I did another story, and then I kind of thought okay, I want to get as many bylines as I can, kind of like a game, right? I'll write about whatever you want. And then I kind of veered into travel. So my grandma, my yaya, she's Greek. She immigrated from Greece. I would like to think that everywhere I go is from her, even though, because people think that people with Alzheimer's are so helpless, but doing that story essentially gave me a career. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, I read your piece the other day, and it was so beautiful. I highly suggest anyone listening to go read it. And it was a beautiful story about her immigration story and your her love story with your grandfather, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Oh my God, of course. Yeah, no, it was beautiful. And I, as an immigrant, I also love hearing like immigration stories as well. And it's nice also like hearing how close you guys were and things like that. So yeah, it was really
Yeah.
heartwarming. And it was also very like hopeful for the future of like, urging people to put more money into research for Alzheimer's and things like that. And so, yeah, everyone go read it.
And I think too, like with writing that and like you see in my newsletter, I think when you write about a topic that's kind of heavy or personal, I'm like very calculated in my work. So like it's not just unloading a lot of baggage and wanting people to feel sorry for you. It's like, okay, like what's relatable? Like what's the point you're trying to make? And then like what do you have for the argument? So it's not just like a really, really sad thing. And I think some writers kind of fall into that trap where they just like unload way too much baggage and you're like, what's the point of this story? Like, because I'm not looking for sympathy. Like, I think like raising awareness or even anything, any type of writing, like I use personal experience to convey a message and it's kind of like multi-layered. So like a really popular newsletter I did was bringing my dad to Antarctica. So like those are kind of two really big hitters. Going to Antarctica is super cool and unique. And then getting to bring my dad and the reader relates to like traveling with their parents as they're getting older is another layer, which makes it kind of like a better story.
Yeah, it makes it very relatable and heartfelt because even if I would assume most readers have not gone to Antarctica with their parents, but they have done things where they've realized, oh, my parents are getting older. Like like this is a new version of them that I'm seeing, or this is a new dynamic that we have to sort of adapt to. So I think it makes it very like heartfelt and personal and relatable to everyone, even if it's not going literally to Antarctica.
Right. Yeah. And I definitely get that a lot because like I'm close with my parents, which I guess I sort of take for granted. Because sometimes if I see someone I haven't seen in a really long time, like that's the first thing they say. They're like, it's so nice you bring your parents and your family on these trips. And I'm just kind of like, wouldn't anyone? But it's not really the case at all.
Uh-huh.
So, some people couldn't last 10 days on an icebreaker ship with their parent, but we did.
That's awesome. And yeah, I'm very excited to get into all the amazing trips that you've been on. But so you're starting to write for the Huffington Post and you're still working your full-time job. What was the transition from eventually leaving your full-time job and doing freelance journalism full-time?
I got let go.
Oh, okay.
So I was at an agency for like 6 years.
Uh-huh.
And to be honest, it's not something you want to hear at the time, but I don't think I ever would have left if I didn't
Golden
get let go.
handcuffs.
Yeah, like in the 6 years, I had like a $12,000 increase over 6 years in New York, which is like not a lot when that's your first job and your starting salary is like what, 45, 48.
Yeah.
So it was definitely comfortable. And I feel like everything I'm doing now, like I learned so much from that job. So I don't have any regrets. But yeah, you're kind of weighing it out. Like, do I leave a full-time job with the salary and benefits to do something I have no idea what the outcome is? But then when you lose that, you don't really have anything to lose, which is like a really powerful feeling. So it's exciting. And that's sort of what got me to transition off. But to be honest, I got let go when I already had like 6 press trip invites to like Wales, Israel, Dominican Republic, Bahamas. And I was like, how am I going to take off for all this stuff? And I wasn't saying no. So my job, like, I kind of hid that I was writing on the side because I don't know, like when you work full time somewhere, they don't love when you have like a lot of extracurriculars, even though work-life balance is such a big thing. But it was nice that like once I got let go, it actually worked out perfectly because it was September 2019. So I did 5 trips, 6, 7 trips until the pandemic happens, which was the shutdown. And then some of these group trips with other journalists, you get to really network. And then I started writing for some of the people I was traveling with.
Yeah. Were you taking like just vacation time to go on these press trips?
At first, yeah. But then I only went on 1 or 2 press trips when I was still working as an art director. And then the rest were after I got let go. So yeah, there's no way. Like last year I traveled probably 100 days easy. And like normal PTOs like 2 weeks to
Yeah.
4 weeks. Like 4 weeks is a lot for a full-time job, but that's like how many trips is that? 2? I
Yeah.
mean, depending where you go. If you go to Japan, I'm not going any less than like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's so funny. I have a very similar story where I was working full time and I was invited on a press trip and then I took vacation days to take that press trip. But I did it in such a shady way where I didn't really like tell them I was going as on like this other trip because I was working for a magazine at the time. And so I took this week off and I just was like, oh yeah, like my friend invited me. It was to Sri Lanka. So it also wasn't to like,
No way.
you know, new like it's like somewhere close. It was like literally across the world. And I was just like, oh yeah, like a friend invited me to Sri Lanka. Like I have to go. Sorry, you know. And then but the trip was 10 days, but I only had like so it was like a weekend, a full week, and then the second weekend, basically. But I didn't have like enough vacation days. I only had like the Monday through the Friday, but I would have had to take like the following Monday and Tuesday off. So like I'm in Sri Lanka, right? And I like logged on for work and I was like, oh, like my flight got canceled. They knew I was in Asia. So like, but I was like, oh, like my flight got canceled, but really it wasn't. It was just like, so like I've also done like sketchy things while working full time in order to accommodate a press trip. And then I was let go from that job. So it was meant to be, I was laid off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, very similar story.
That's funny.
Yeah, I know, right? But I think it's the universe like pushing you in the direction. Like you were clearly meant to have this amazing career outside of that art directing career that you had.
Yeah. And I'm still doing a lot of design, like my newsletter and stuff. In my Instagram and stuff, like people that don't know I had that background, they're just like, wow, your stuff looks so good. And I'm like, well, that's like what I actually do. I mean, I do right now, but like that's what I did Photoshop. I would go to this like camp in the summer where we'd learn Photoshop for like a week in middle school. So like a lot of that stuff just sticks with you because it can be a really hard program to learn.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I was going to ask you about so your newsletter Jimmy Rocks has a very like specific brand to it with the lime green and the way that you edit the photos and you put for like people who haven't seen it, it's like this like cool like almost like handwriting like sort of like font that you have in this specific lime green color, and that's also the color of your Instagram, and it's like you put the text on the photos and like arrows and like it's a very like cool design, and I haven't seen a lot of like other travel writers have such a specific brand. So I was going to ask you like how you developed that, and it really makes you stand out.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. No, like whenever you're so in the weeds with whatever you're working on yourself. So like if people ever compliment me, I will definitely like follow up with questions because I'm like, I want to see their perspective. Like, am I right? Am I like on base? You know, like how I feel about it is how the reader should feel about it too, which doesn't always happen. But for me, it's been pretty good. But yeah, I think I've done things kind of without thinking about it because my profile picture has been lime green since like 2016. And it was sort of like, I didn't want to have a picture because I feel like, I don't know, you could just get sick of it all the time and keep changing it. And then you get older and look different. But I made up Jimmy Rocks as a stage name in college because I didn't want my name anywhere online. Like my Amazon account is Jimmy Rocks from like back then, like Uber. And like I don't go by Jimmy growing up. Like it's kind of strictly a stage name. But now like if people call me Jimmy, like it's everywhere. So it's fine. Like I'll correct them once or twice. But so when I started my newsletter, I already had my like branding and stuff for Jimmy Rocks on Instagram. So I'm like, I might as well extend it. I think the biggest pressure test for me with doing the newsletter is A, if I had enough to write about, like if I have enough to say, and B, do I always need to be traveling? So when I started it September 2021, 4 years ago, the descriptor on it is honest travel and shower thoughts. So it's a lot of travel, but it's also some random stuff. Like I've done it on imposter syndrome and more of those like friendship type of things. And those always do like really, really good. I mean, everything relatively does like the same, but those shower thoughts are definitely like, I did one on going to concerts solo and I got so many replies, people sending me like paragraphs. So like, it's different than a publication because it's kind of like you're hearing from a trusted friend that you like don't actually know. So for someone to take the time to do that means a lot to me that like I've affected them in some way. Cause I think sometimes when I write, I just assume that no one's reading anything. So maybe it makes for like better work. But it is also nice doing a newsletter because a lot of publications they need to make money. So like they follow SEO trends, they follow news, and it's like, well, if I went to a sheep festival in Idaho, like what news is that? Like I think that's something that's just really cool that people would want to go to. It
Mhm.
doesn't need to be a trend for it to be
Mhm.
successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that kind of leads like perfectly into part of what I wanted to talk about, which is like how do you balance, because you've written for some of the like biggest like travel magazines or just magazines in general. So how do you know when something you want to write about is okay, I want to like bring this to a publication, or no, I want to keep this for myself, you know? Like how do you like balance that?
Yeah, so like that's actually something I consider too, because the newsletter is not just a bunch of like rejected pitches. Like they stand on their own. So sometimes if I do something for a publication, it's more like professional. And then for the newsletter, it's more like Jimmy Roxified. So a lot of anyone that has a newsletter, I think a helpful tip is having your subject line as a question. Because as much time as I spend on the artwork, like that doesn't affect the open rate because you don't see it until you open it. So
Mhm.
it's really like that subject line. So I usually always do a question and they're usually pretty short because I do the artwork for it. So if it's a really long headline, it just doesn't always work with the design. But I think it's definitely more personal on Jimmy. And then if it's a publication, it might be a little more like reported, or I might ask for quotes from an expert because
Mhm.
sometimes editors want that over like what you experienced yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. What is your process when it comes to creating your newsletter each week?
I have a document of a bunch of headlines and I sort of have them organized. So I kind of try to balance it. Like if I went to Thailand and I'm going to do, let's say, 5 different newsletters about very different things from it, I'm not going to do them like all in a row. So I'll try to like space them out, put some shower thoughts in there too. And then, yeah, not like a ton of time. Like I'll kind of sit on it and be like, is this a good idea or is this too far out there? And some of the ones that are a little too far out there, like the concerts one, that's really not travel whatsoever. And that did really well.
Mhm.
So sometimes like it's all experiential. Like if you have a newsletter that's a dud, like so what? Like people are gonna unsubscribe. Like fine. Like it allows you. Like I didn't build something to just be so like watered down.
Mhm. Yeah. How long do you normally spend on each issue of the newsletter?
I try to get it done the week. I try to get it done before the week of, which doesn't always happen. But I kind of like that because then it's kind of like fresh. But I do spend a lot of time on the photography. So I spend probably just as much time curating the photos as much as writing it. And
Mhm.
the feedback I get from it a lot is that it's really easy to digest, kind of snackable. A lot of them have like subheads throughout it. So I kind of think you can read it in 3 different ways. You can read it all the way through, like everything I give you, which is amazing. Then you can read it by kind of just reading the subheads, or you can read it by just looking at the photos. And I feel like no matter which way someone's going to read it, they can still get something out of it. So to answer your question, I think it depends. I think I kind of don't do it in one sitting and knock it out. I'll have a Google Doc and I'll kind of create an outline, have the outline sit, then kind of build the structure. And then I'm kind of like, okay, let's like knock it out. But I already have all the outline. I'm not like concepting completely that day.
Hmm. How does your creative workflow change? Because you're someone who's on the road a lot, you're traveling. So I imagine you're working on it during trips and things like that. And then you come back. So, like, how does it change from when you're traveling versus like when you're at a home base?
I definitely am not super productive on the road. If I know I'm going to be somewhere, I try to finish everything. So, like, I'm going away on Friday and I'm trying to have like my next 4 newsletters done just because there's a lot of variables and like you don't know. I just want it to be done because otherwise I'm going to be like anxious about it wherever I am. But yeah, I don't really even write articles on the road either. I try to always, I'm really good about getting them done. And I met a journalist recently who thought I was like making that up. And I'm like, no, like I do them before I go.
Uh-huh.
Cause a lot of these trips you're out all day. Like group trips, they give you such a packed itinerary. You have like no free time half the time.
Yeah, it's
Even
so
individual trips,
exhausting.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it's I bet it like after like your a really packed day and then having to go back to your hotel room and work just sounds like miserable. So it's so smart that you like stack it all before.
Right. And I do some things that are a little like time sensitive, but for the most part, a lot of my stuff is evergreen. So it could be like any time of year and still like make sense.
Uh-huh. Yeah, for sure. How has your newsletter changed over the last couple of years that you've had it?
I I will say what got me to start the newsletter was I did a story and I didn't get paid that much. And then I sort of got screwed over where they like ran it in print and I wasn't paid additionally for it. And I kind of was just like, I put all this work into this. And it was like, for what? Like, you could spend all this time pitching and an editor will still like ignore half your pitches. There's no like way of like, okay, you're in. I'm going to come to you all the time now. Like, that's very rare, at least for me, speaking for myself. So I wanted to start something. I'm like, well, I'm getting all these opportunities and going to these places. I might as well capitalize on it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I kind of concepted it. And I always wanted it to be a website, which it is going to. I've literally been working a year on making this website. So I gate kept all the content for like 4 years to drive the subscriber list. And I'm up to over like 12,000 subscribers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, over 150 editions. And that's why I didn't want to do Substack. So like I never want to charge readers. I want to get them through partnerships with brands and like destinations. And then I don't need the archive because I'm going to have my own site. But for me, it was always consumer facing and that never changed. And what I mean by that is some journalists have Substacks and they're like, hey, PR people, this is what I'm working on this week. Like if you have products you want to send me, that type of thing. But I don't really disclose like where I am in that exact moment or like stories I'm working on outside of it. Jimmy Rocks is a totally separate consumer facing product. And it's really rung true over the last 4 years. I would say not a lot has changed. I did used to do these honest travel guides, and I feel like they were almost like too much information at once, where it would almost be if I went to Hawaii, and did an honest travel guide, eat, stay, do, and it's almost like a cheat sheet of things to do with notes, kind of like bulleted format. I don't really do that anymore because I think my work is giving someone the confidence to take a trip or for first timers. So that's a little too far ahead of like an access point. Like I should do like one really cool thing for a newsletter, like getting to see a volcano in Hawaii. That's the access point that like sparks the interest for wanting to go to Hawaii. And then maybe a guide is useful. But like for someone who just casually is reading the newsletter, it's a little too much information. Because I don't like to have a niche. I have it broad. So it could be like domestic, international, adventure. And I think it's just for the curious. So like for first timers, for people that aren't big travelers yet, giving them the confidence to take a solo trip, do something different for the first time.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And you brought up something that you had mentioned in a previous interview that there's a big advantage to being a generalist and not niching down. And could you expand a bit more on that? Because I think so much content online now that's for content makers is always like niche down. That's how you're going to grow. And like you have to have like a niche and that's your or whatever. And but I always kind of disagreed with that. Like I've always also been a generalist because I just have so many interests that I just like physically can't. It would be more off brand for me to niche down, you know?
Right.
So it was really refreshing to hear your perspective in another interview. So I was hoping you could expand on that.
Yeah. No, because even as a journalist, like they say you should have a niche so then the editors can come to you. Let's say my really good friend's niche is like dark skies and astrotourism, which is amazing. Like she kills it. She just put a book out with Nat Geo last year. But for me, like I love scuba diving. I don't think my whole career could be writing about diving. that's not as fun to me. So like I think whatever is fun for you. And I think I've sort of made myself the niche in Jimmy Rocks where the stories are not about me. There's always takeaway for the readers as a service piece, but it's always about trying something or going somewhere and just kind of becoming a better person from these experiences versus just going somewhere. So I think if I did something like I was going to do a newsletter where I didn't have a picture of me in it, and I was like, that's okay. Like, I don't need to be in every single one, but
Uh-huh.
like incorporating yourself definitely helps. Like, I've really worked to like define a voice and incorporate personality. So I think, yeah, people want to see these places I'm going to and tips I have because they might trust me. Hopefully they will.
Mhm.
But I mean, I don't have the best pictures in the world. Like, you have to incorporate yourself. Like, they also subscribe because it's like, oh, like, I want to see what he has to say.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I want to jump back to what we were talking about in the beginning when you were first getting started and you got let go from your job, but you had these like press trip invites. So, because you got started originally writing more personal essays about your family, how did you transition from that into specifically travel journalism?
So, after I did a couple of the Huff Post pieces, I actually got invited on a press trip through Canon to go to Florida to help senior citizens check things off their bucket list.
Oh my
So
God, that's so
when they reached
sweet.
out to me, it was more like from that elderly angle.
Oh,
So it was like Fort Lauderdale, Sarasota. They went to the Daytona racetrack with one of them. And that agency repped a lot of clients. So I started doing like a lot of work with them. One of them was the National Park Service. So I got to do some cool things with that. And they always linked talent to it. So I got to interview in the past like Chance the Rapper, Victoria Justice, like a really
that's
random
sick.
bunch.
Yeah.
Just kind of like those people were getting brand deals to work with the parks. So then you kind of just have to like fake it till you make it. So when I was writing for Pop Sugar, they had like a job article board of like stories you can pick up, and they literally wanted like a story on Instagram posts from Baha Mar as like a gallery. So like I took that for example, and then like 2 months later I actually got invited to the Bahamas from the tourism board, and it was so new for me.
Because they saw that article.
Yeah. So like
Wow.
like if you're like, "Oh no, I'm above doing a story about an Instagram post." It's like, "Are you?" Cuz it could lead to like it could lead you on a very different trajectory.
Mhm.
Like if you want to grow as a journalist, it's not about chasing the money at first. Like it's obviously there. It's like I hate when someone's like, "Oh, you're a journalist, so like you don't make any money." And I'm like, "Do I ask you what you make? Like this makes no sense."
Yeah.
But yeah, so when she emailed me about the Bahamas, I didn't even realize it was like an invite. Cause a lot of stuff when you get invited, like sometimes there's a lot of gray area. Like we're organic, right? So like it's not paid advertising. So like I personally don't guarantee stories, but sometimes places do want guaranteed coverage before you experience a trip, which is a little silly, although I get
And it's unethical in a
it's
lot of ways.
unethical.
I hate when it's in the post, like guarantee coverage, like you don't apply for this trip unless you have guaranteed. I'm like,
Yeah,
nobody has guarantee coverage. Like, who is going on this trip? Like,
right.
who?
And
It's
I think
crazy.
it's like it's a lot of trust. So like I went on a trip last September and then I submitted a story in January and then it got published 3 weeks ago in July, and my editor said it was like one of the highest organic views they've had on a story in like recent memory.
That's
And that was
incredible.
almost like a year timeline.
Hmm.
So like you want to work with people. If people are going to be annoying about coverage before you even commit to the trip, then you shouldn't commit to it. Because as soon as it's done, they're going to be very annoying.
Hmm. What is it about travel that you find so inspiring?
I think I didn't leave the country till I was 27. We went to Hershey Park every summer, which was really fun. And so I think so much of this was like my first time, and like I always had a personal list of like places I wanted to go to, like Alaska or Hawaii or like swim in the Dead Sea or like Antarctica. So like that's all very inspiring to me, and to get to write about it in like a way that I want to is just really awesome that like I don't take for granted. And I think when you go to these places, like when we were in Antarctica, it's a very expensive trip. Like it's so remote. Like you're probably in the most remote destination you ever will be there. So like it's not just like dumb expensive, like it's for a purpose.
Mhm.
There was only like 128 passengers on our ship and like everyone looks so different, like different ages from different places, but like they all had this like shared passion for being there. Like the dinner conversations were about like these penguins we saw or these icebergs. Like it wasn't so much about like, oh, what do you do? And like, what do you do this? So like
Yeah.
getting to find like fellow travelers that just like want to see the world. And like, I don't think travel for me is like that I hate my life and need to like escape. I think it offers something else and like a different way to see things. And I'm like, huh, like what can I incorporate into my life after going on this solo bike trip to Croatia type of
Mhm.
thing?
I love that. What was your first trip abroad when you were 27?
It was actually when I was in advertising. I went to London.
Oh, love
Yeah, it was
it.
only like 3 nights. It was for a site visit, but I actually have a friend from the States who lives in London. So she really showed me around and it was super fun. But yeah, it was funny because London is very like English and like not very foreign. But then in October 2019, I went to Israel. And that for me, I think was like the biggest culture shock
Mhm.
because you just have like people in the army walking around with these giant guns when you're trying to order like a sandwich.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, that was very different for me. And it was an amazing trip. And I'm really uh, happy I got to go when I did. Um, but yeah, I do really love to still find places that are really foreign to me. Like I love typography and stuff. So like when I go to foreign places, I'm taking so many photos of these like random street signs or like just because I like how it looks. I went to Thailand in April, following where they filmed scenes for The White Lotus, the HBO show.
I read your newsletter on that. You just,
Yeah.
yeah, put something out about that.
Yeah, that was a really great trip. That was really my first time to proper Asia. So that was really cool. And I got to go to Songkran, which is that biggest water gun fight in the world, which
Mhm.
celebrates the Thai New Year. So now when I work with tourism boards and things like that, I try to find those types of events. And I'll be like, well, if I can come anytime, I want to come for this.
Mhm.
Because then it adds another layer to the story.
Yeah.
It's like I'm going to Santa Fe for Zozobra. It's like the original Burning Man. They light
Oh,
a
cool.
50-foot tall, like paper mache man on fire, but everyone puts their like divorce papers, insecurities, like they all write it down and put it in there. It's been going on for
Wow.
like 100 years. So I want to do that. So like to me, like Santa Fe is probably a really great place, but like for a story that I want to share, I feel like getting to go to a festival like that adds something very different.
Yeah, absolutely. Are there certain parts of the world or certain environments that you find more inspiring than others?
Yeah, my friend recently was like, "Your Instagram doesn't have any city stuff." And I'm like, "Well, what's the problem with that?" Like I like the beach and I like remote destinations and expeditions. So it wasn't really till she said that I realized I'm like, huh, maybe I don't do as much city stuff. But I also love photographing like landscapes, like national parks. Like I've done a Utah road trip like twice in the last 3 years to like Moab and Zion. And I like that versus like getting to go to like a brand new city. I'm
Mhm.
also not really the biggest foodie in the world. Like anywhere I go, I need to go to the McDonald's there. Like I literally went to the McDonald's on the Nile. So yeah, maybe I feel like people that really love the city want to try all these different restaurants and like get really hard to get reservations.
You're more like nature
Yeah, like
oriented.
I feel like my vibe is very like authentically quirky. Like I don't like when someone's like, "Oh, where should I go?" And I'm like, "Well, I know nothing about you. Like I'm not your travel agent, but I'll give you like I write about my experience as best I can, kind of like a choose your own adventure. That's what I would like my writing to be perceived as. So then someone can be like, "Oh, that sheep festival, that's really cool." Or like if someone's like, "Oh, mermaiding, that's so dumb." Then like don't do it. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, so like I try to find things that are really different sometimes and like lesser known. Like I love domestic travel as much as international. So I always try to do a road trip. I did a 10-day road trip through Tennessee. I went to like an Elvis festival and it was in this like big building. And I went into the gift shop because there was a line waiting to get into the Elvis festival. And I overheard people like mocking it. And I just turned to them and being like, you know what? It's a really good event. Okay. And just like walked out of the store.
Wait, I love that.
So I feel like it's like, I feel like maybe I didn't always have this type of confidence, but like it's not like in school or in work. If you're not like in the cool kid group, it's like, no, like I'm making my own group and like whoever subscribes, like this is fun. Like if you're not having fun, I'm not doing it right.
Yeah, no, I love that. And you brought up mermaning. Okay, so I love scuba diving, so we have to talk about that. But you're also an advanced certified merman and a PADI ambassador.
Ambassador, yeah.
Tell me all about that. Like what is a merman, an advanced certified merman, and what is a PADI ambassador?
So PADI selects 10 to 12 ambassadors a year from like all over the world who just kind of like represent their brand. So I got in, like it wasn't through the PR people I work with. Like I actually got in and they had
That's
like over
so fucking cool.
Yeah, they had like over 500 tapes and my friend told me that they thought it was so funny that I live in New Jersey because you can't really dive here.
Yeah,
but I travel enough for work where like I've been diving in like over a dozen different countries. I got to go diving in even like Saudi Arabia. But yeah, because the other divers, they're much more like live in Florida or like live in the Maldives. But I think scuba diving for me, which speaks to like a lot of my work in general, is I want to attract like the newer audience of divers. Like we don't need to talk technical. Like you have a fear of being underwater 60 feet. Like let's unpack that. Whereas like if someone's done 100 dives, they don't care about reading that. But when I was working with Scuba Dive Magabit, I was really trying to create that type of more entry level into it. And that's how I think about a lot of my stuff because it's really about who you talk to. Because like, let's say a national park, like they don't need to do every single hike. If it's your first time going, do one really awesome hike and like have fun. But back to mermaning. So
yes, what is that?
I was asked to go to Bonaire, which is a Dutch island with like more flamingos than people on the island. It's right next to Curacao. And to get my scuba cert, open water, that was in 2022. And I did that and it was really fun. And then I would try to dive anywhere I went. And then I went to St. Bart's and had a really bad dive. I like ran out of air and was like, you know what? It's okay if I'm never going to do this again. Because the thing with diving is if you have a bad dive, it could be months before your next dive. So it's not like you fall off your bike and then the next day you just get back on. And then that fear is gone. Like it just kind of like sits with you. So then I got an invite to go to Fiji to get an advanced certified scuba certification. And I told them, I was like, yeah, like I don't think I'm going to dive. Like I had a really bad time. And I mean, how could you turn down Fiji? We got to stay on like a private island resort. It was really cool. So I did that. And I definitely was about to throw up before going in the first time, was like pacing the dive shop. But then once you get in, it's like fine. And I think they had extra eyes on me, which I'm more than welcome to having. Like I'm not the most A+ scuba diver, but I enjoy doing it. So then a lot of the time when I dive, I like to swim with my legs together. So my friend who works at PADI was like, James, we're going to do a mermaiding trip at the Four Seasons in Bora Bora in May.
Shut up.
And I was like, you tell me what I need to do to be there because I would like to be there.
I would like to be there. Oh my God. That sounds like a dream.
And then I feel like compared to a lot of other things in the world, like it's really good to be a man in that realm because there's a lot of like mermaids, not a lot of like mermen. So we did that and it was actually quite difficult. Like I learned how to duck dive. You really need to like swim with your hips because like if you swim with your knees, which you're used to doing, it doesn't really activate your fin. So like you're not really going anywhere. So yeah, that trip, we did a lot of breath work because you get a basic free diving cert with it, which I don't love personally. I like to have a tank if I'm going down far. But for mermaiding, it's great. So I held my breath that trip for like 2 minutes, 20 seconds. just
Wow.
not really deep underwater, but like your face is in it, and then like you can hear people. But yeah, you had to swim the length of an Olympic size pool in the ocean in your tail, no goggles, a lot of stuff. And then for me, if I think you just need to lean into like opportunities you get. So like any dinner I go to for work, like if I tell them about that, like I have everyone's attention. Like they want to like know about it. They're like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "It's exactly what you think I mean." And then like pull up a picture in a freaking tail. But yeah, I would like to get my teaching cert in mermaiding and then eventually host my own trip with like content creators or journalists and like certified people.
If you need someone on the trip, I'm free anytime.
Yeah.
I would
Next
love to
year
be
I
able
want to
to.
get it.
Oh my god, that's so cool. What do you use your merman certification for?
It's just kind of like for like not I mean, I guess you could if you want. It's different than a tank, but like you can't really just put on a tail and get in the ocean. Like you do need to know how to do some things. So it's just kind of for fun. Like I
I love
actually
that.
did a Q&A yesterday for Patty's Instagram page that's not live. Like I just recorded the videos, but one of the questions they wanted me to answer was what would I say to someone who thinks it's just like fantasy? And I was just like, it is. Like, and it's fun. Like, what's the problem with that? Because I think the thing with scuba diving in general is it's cool that you kind of get to see a place under the surface where like a lot of people don't get to see. And it's just like you're kind of just like escaping life as we know it for a little bit and just like interacting, seeing these creatures and just being able to say you went 100 feet below the surface is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Whenever people ask like why I enjoy it, I say like it's the closest thing you'll ever get to like going to another planet. Cause like
Yeah,
right
I love
now,
that.
yeah, right now we obviously like humans cannot go to another planet at the moment, but it's like there's that saying where like, oh, we know less about the ocean than we do the moon or whatever it is. And I'm just like, we're one of the only creatures that have the ability to live. I mean, we don't live underwater, but like, like experience both land and sea. And like one time I was really stoned, but I was like talking to my friend about scuba diving because she was getting her certification because I got mine. And I was like, fish don't know about giraffes. And she was like, oh my God. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah,
they're totally, what I meant, it sounds dumb, but what I meant by that is like, they're two totally different worlds. And we're one of the only creatures that can experience both. So
right.
why not? Why wouldn't you just try it? And
And
it's so magical. And sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
no, I was gonna add, it's so crazy when you're down there in like the big blue, like when you can't see anything else, and there's just so much further down, and you're already at like 70 feet, and you're like, wow, we really are just like a little freaking speck.
Mhm.
Like the ocean is insane. Like it is so crazy. I know that's not like the smartest way of talking about it, but like it is like the waves and everything. Like it's just really like you really have to be careful too.
Totally.
Like I'm not trying to be like a dive master, but I am actually going a little full circle is in September. I'm going to Greece on a scuba diving trip with Patty, and I'm actually going to where my yaya was from. So I found her address, and I'm gonna spend a day going to her apartment.
That's so magical.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
so
so
that'll be
incredible.
really nice.
Yeah, that'll be so like beautiful and emotional, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been back to your
So
Yaya's
I've never
hometown?
been to Greece. So
Oh.
I'm actually going on Friday on a Virgin Voyages cruise with my brother through the Grecian islands. So I feel
Wow.
like that's a really cool way to see things for the first time. So like Santorini, Rhodes, Crete. Um yeah, so that'll be my first time. But
Yeah.
then September, so like I waited all my life to go to Greece and now like I'm going twice in 2 months basically.
That's incredible. How do you feel about going to the country that you have such a strong like biological and emotional tie to for the
I'm
first
very
time?
excited because I've been to Italy before and I feel like Italians and Greeks are really similar. So like I've been to Italy 3 times and I'm always like, wow, like this feels like so nice and familiar. So I'm like, wow, if Italy felt like that, then Greece should feel a lot better. And I do think it's really cool to experience it kind of in a touristy way, like on a cruise. But to be honest, like that's the best way to see the islands, at least that many at once. So there's just so many places I want to go. Even after those 2 trips, like I want to go to Milos, I want to go to Paros, Naxos, more of those like they're getting popular now, but like 15 years ago, I feel like no one was going there.
Hmm. Wow, that'll be so like powerful and fun and emotional and in
Yeah.
such great ways. I was born in China, but
Oh,
I
no
grew up
way.
yeah, but I grew up my whole life in the United States and I was adopted. So it's not like I grew up with Chinese culture. My parents are like white. And so but I went back to China for the first time when I was 19 and it was such a mind fuck in the best way because I was never like super like attached to China besides like being biologically Chinese, but going back to like my home or like my birth country was like it was insane in all the best ways. And I could talk about it forever, so I won't ramble
Yeah,
on,
no,
but
because
that's why I was curious.
yeah, like this, my upcoming newsletter I'm doing is I'm going to the place I'm from for the first time,
That's so
which I'm
cool.
like, is that too cool? Like, I feel like sometimes if I'm corny, it's like not corny. It's just me saying it's corny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think it'll I mean, I would be so interested in reading that. That's so
Yeah, and
cool.
that's like I think with that's a really great example of like personal experience because like even if someone's not Greek, like they're gonna go, there's a lot of people who haven't been to like where their descent is from.
Hmm.
So like yeah, the fact that I got my Yaya's address, yeah, I'm gonna try to make like a vlog about it. I've been trying to do more like vlogs, like
Yeah.
with the voiceovers and stuff.
That's so cool. Well, I can't wait to watch that on Instagram or YouTube or wherever it lives. So
Yeah,
I'll be on the lookout for that.
thanks.
Do you ever experience imposter syndrome?
Yeah, like all the
What does
time.
it look like or sound like or feel like to you?
Um, I feel like it's worse when you're like genuinely having a bad day because then like you're like, what the hell am I doing? Like this is just a big mound of like crap. But I do think because I was thinking about it before this, and I do think sometimes like you could get better work thinking you're an imposter, where like you're not just getting like lazy. But yeah, for me, like I do think I'm a journalist. I think I'm like more than a journalist. I think the landscape's really getting blurred lines lately. Um, but I mean, the term journalist, for example, like there's so much. Like I'm not like a reporter. I mean, I've done articles with interviews and stuff, but like, I mean, I could be a reporter. I think I'm like impostering myself, you know? Like, I think, yeah, we definitely like think a little less than like what we're capable of, but sometimes it's nice to be like a little underestimated.
Mhm. Internally, like underestimating yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What are some self-care things or things that you do to get you out of a negative headspace when you are experiencing self-doubt or imposter syndrome?
I walk 5 miles a day
Seriously?
since last July.
Wow, 5 miles
Yeah,
all at
well,
once or like throughout
yeah,
the
all at
day?
once. It takes like an hour and a half.
Wow, good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I think like getting outside or like getting active. So like I work out with my dad actually at like 8:30 in the morning, like lift, and then I'll walk. I'll do some work and then like during the day I'll also walk, which is just nice to like get in the sun, get outside. Like I'll make some of my calls like on the walk. And yeah, people will be like, "You look so tan. Where did you go?" And I'm like, "Just go walking."
Do you have like a favorite route or something, or do you try to mix it up every time you walk?
I mix it up sometimes, but I do like my route. It's just like from my house, which to be honest, like before the pandemic, I never went walking in the neighborhood next to my house. So I think even though I didn't get to travel during the pandemic and my career was kind of like jumbled, like I did a lot of entertainment stories at the time, I really liked having that time home. Like I think people assume I just need to always be on the road, and I'm like I love being home and I love having a routine.
Hmm.
Like I'm leaving Friday for 2 weeks and I'm like a little nervous about it. But like once I'm there, it's better. Yeah, like I did a newsletter on if you get travel anxiety, and I saw an old friend and she was like, "I'm shocked you wrote about that cuz you travel so much." And I'm like, never thought about it like that. So I think sometimes we just kind of like underestimate ourselves in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But I am trying to just be like more confident. Not not that I'm like not confident, but I do think like for my readers, a lot of the stories are like, you could do this on your own. You could do whatever, like go wherever you want. Like you can like something that's like people think is dumb or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Do you ever experience writer's block?
Yeah.
How do you get out of it?
No, I'm just kidding. I do not use ChatGPT for my writing. It's really easy to sense it.
Yeah,
Um,
I hear you.
but for writer's block, I think I'm really productive at nighttime. Like I'll go to sleep really late, like 1 a.m. But that's probably when I'm the most productive. But if I feel like it's not hitting, then I'm just like shut my laptop. And then the next day I'm like refreshed.
Mhm.
So I usually always like hit my deadlines, but sometimes it'll just happen a little later than like I plan. But I do try to do stories, kind of like have the Google Doc open, be like, okay, I'm going to put some stuff in here, then come back to it and be like, add this, add that. So it's not just like sit down and churn out the whole story in one sitting.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. I hear you. I have like 20 tabs open at once. I'm working on
Yeah.
4 different things.
No, that's creatives. If someone's not creative and sees my computer screen, they're like, what the hell? And I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
for sure. Have you ever experienced like a challenge or a failure or a setback that taught you an important lesson?
Yeah. I would say two things. Like one setback is sometimes I work with people and they end up like quitting or like we stop working together. So it kind of sucks in the moment because you kind of have this plan to get something done and it really doesn't have anything to do with you. But then that means like, oh, I need to find someone else or like still continue to get the task done, which can be really demotivating. But I would say a challenge for me at this point is I've been freelancing full time and traveling for like 5, 6 years. So I would say like burnout can be a very real thing. I don't ever want to feel like I'm like going to a place I'm not excited about. So I say no to a lot of press trips because if it just doesn't feel like the right fit, the place isn't going anywhere. Even if I have to pay to go somewhere I want to go, like I really don't care. Like last year I went to Switzerland for the Eras tour with my friend. That was like just completely for fun. And like,
Oh
yeah,
my
I could have
gosh.
reached out to hotels and tried to do things, but like sometimes it's nice to like not have to take a picture of something if you don't want to.
Yeah, you don't feel like you have to be on the clock or
Yeah.
deliver something to.
Because don't get me wrong, like you have so much fun, but like there's certain things you need to capture, certain information you need to get. Like,
It's can be mentally exhausting for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I went to Taylor Swift, or I should say, I went to Europe last year for the Eras tour, but I had tickets to the Vienna shows that got
No.
canceled.
Oh my God.
It was
Were
heartbreaking.
you crying?
Yes, several times.
That was really
Several
sad.
times. I cried Wednesday night when the news broke. But then like a couple hours later, they like caught the 2 people. And then I was like, are they gonna like put the show back? Like they caught the people. Why isn't the show still like I was a mess. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was crying a lot.
So you didn't get to go at all?
No, I have not been to the Eras tour. I've bought tickets and flown to Europe for it, but I never got to
That
go.
was really sad. I remember seeing that online and
It was, yeah.
because it was not that long after mine.
Yeah, it was very sad. And I tried afterward. I was like, okay, well, like she like did like a mini US tour after the European tour. So she hit like Miami again or like whatever cities. And I was like, or like maybe it was like Toronto or something like that. And I was like, okay, maybe I can get, because I'm from Buffalo. So I was like, maybe I can get Toronto tickets and like go to my parents' house. And the tickets were like $5,000 for
So
like the
much.
nosebleeds. And I
Yeah.
just was like, and because of like the European like ticket laws or whatever, where like it's like anti-scalper laws or whatever, I paid $300 for the VIP floor tickets. Only $300, which is
Whoa.
not that bad.
Ours was
You know.
similar.
Yeah, and so I was like, I'm not paying $5,000 for any concert, let alone like there better be a meet and greet for $5,000, not a nosebleed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never got to go, but It's okay. There's bigger problems in the world, I guess.
No, that sucks.
It does suck. Yeah, it does suck. Yeah, absolutely. But it's okay. She'll go on another tour, and I'll go to that one.
Yeah.
And I've seen her before too.
Oh,
so
awesome.
It's okay. It's okay. But what is your definition of success?
I think success is doing something that is fulfilling and makes you excited and keeps it fresh and happy. Like, I've had so many people who I'm friends with say, like, really run down in their jobs, and you're like doing it. Like, you're going like if like I had a friend who's like best friend's mom passed away, and I feel like when something like that happens, it kind of just like puts your life in perspective, and you're like, well, someone reached out to me the other day. Actually, she is going to Peru with her dad because she's been talking about going to Peru since 2005. So she's like, well, now we're actually going to do it, so we don't have to keep talking about it. So yeah, I think success is just about like being happy with what you're doing. Like, yeah, you want to make an income, but like, I don't think the people with the highest income are the happiest, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that for sure. And where are 3 places or experiences that you haven't done or you haven't been to yet that you want to go to?
Well, I'm going to Greece. I really want to go to Japan, and I want to go to Australia. Like, I've been to Fiji, so that's like Australia, the continent. But yeah, I would say those 3. I've gotten to go to so many that I wanted to, like Antarctica. I went to Egypt last year, Galapagos, Alaska. So I've checked a lot off. And I do believe in going back to a place. Like, I'm not the type of person that goes somewhere once. Like, I was actually going down a rabbit hole of trying to get like a dry suit cert to go scuba diving in Antarctica. And I was like, well, it's a big commitment, and it's through like a different company that I traveled with. But yeah, so I would say Japan for sure. Like, I like Pokemon and stuff. But what about you?
Me? Oh, it's funny you say Alaska because I just got back from an Alaskan cruise like 2 weeks ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I loved it. This is a really random story. I won the cruise in a cruise sweepstakes.
No way.
And I thought it was a scam up until I literally like got on board. But
No
it
way.
wasn't a scam. So like, yeah, it was incredible. I loved Alaska, and I'd never been to that part of the world before. But I really want to do more exploration in the Middle East and Sub-Saharan Africa because I have technically been to Africa. I've been to Morocco, but that's Northern Africa, which is very different than Sub-Saharan. And the number 1 place on my travel list is Cape Town.
Cool.
It's my dream trip. And I'm turning 30 next year. And so I'm thinking about trying to plan a trip for my 30th birthday as a treat to myself.
You definitely should.
So yeah, Cape Town is my dream. And I really want to do more exploration in the Middle East because I think it's such a beautiful but misunderstood part of the world. And I mean, Morocco is like a little taste of it because it has a lot of Middle Eastern influence. And that's like one of my favorite places in the world is Morocco. And so I really want to but that's like Middle Eastern with like North African like influences. But I really want like the Middle Eastern culture, you know? So
I went to Saudi.
Yeah. How was that?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
It was definitely a quick trip. Like, didn't spend too much time in the cities, but went to Alua, kind of like the desert, and then I went to the Red Sea. That's where I went scuba diving.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting easier to visit Saudi Arabia now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know someone who worked with did you work with the tourism board there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know someone else who, I wonder if you guys know each other, but I know someone who actually was on the Sri Lanka trip with me who worked with the Saudi tourism board.
Oh,
so she
no
went a
way.
couple times.
Yeah, they were really great to travel with.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll have to add it to my list. That's
Yeah.
so cool. I also have been hearing really good things about Oman.
Oh, I would want to go there too.
Yeah, I would really want to go there. And also, you know what's really popping off right now, at least I guess maybe in my like bubble that I'm in, is Kazakhstan. everyone's
Oh,
talking about Kazakhstan and Mongolia. That's what I'm hearing a lot of. So I think
cool.
those places are going to start heating up around 2026, 2027. But right now, I think they're still quote unquote like undiscovered to the more American or Western audiences. But I think that they're investing a lot in their tourism and their press trips and their media. So I think those places are going to be really hot in like 3 or 4 years, and we're going to see a lot more Americans going there. That's my personal opinion. But yeah,
Cool.
I've been
I
hearing
mean, I
that.
feel like you're right.
Yeah, have you been
Yeah.
seeing a lot of like Mongolia and Kazakhstan content?
Mongolia for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, so those are my places because I feel like I've been to the Londons and Parises of the world, and those places are great. Like, no hate to those places personally, but what attracts me to a place is the chaoticness and I want to be in the places that are the most different from the northeastern United States that
Totally.
I've grown up in and live
Yeah.
in. And I really like developing countries, I think, more than like Western countries. Because I just enjoy being in that sort of like chaotic energy, and chaotic in a good way,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Cool.
For sure. Okay, James, this has been so awesome. Are you ready to move into the lightning round?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay. What is something new that you've tried lately?
Well, I got into Labubus.
Okay, tell me everything because I don't really understand them, but my boyfriend has been 3D printing fake Labubus for fun. So if you want a fake Labubu, we have some at my apartment. But tell me, oh, sorry, there's a fly. Tell me
So
everything.
the quick version, I got into Labubus from my Thailand trip because there was a journalist on our trip who was really into them, but they were sold out everywhere. But they were in Thailand. So they got us each a Labubu, and then like she went back and I ordered some with her. But yeah, I think they're just like really fun. And I think it's kind of like Taylor Swift. People love her or hate her. I feel like the same with Labubus. And I was actually trying to get my nephew a certain color. So like 2 days ago, I found someone on Facebook Marketplace selling them like at cost. And we were gonna meet in a public place and for these freaking Labubus. And I'm like walking down my street to meet him at the post office. His profile had no profile picture. He had one friend. He said he was going to come in his white van. And
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
so sketchy.
what am I doing? Like this for a freaking Labubu? And then he ended up being totally normal. And I'm like, why the hell do you not have a profile picture? So we were talking a lot about like Labubus because I have one from each collection. There's 4 collections about. But he was like, there's so many scammers out there, this and that. So he gave me one for free. He was like, this is for like the Labubu community. Like, I know you're going to not like scam it or try to upsell it. And I was like, that was really nice of you. So now I'm like, I think I have to keep that one for me as
So
a gift.
are they just collectibles or are they like webkins where you like do
People
something? with
put
it?
them on their bags and bring them out, but like I just keep mine in my house. Yeah, they're not like Furbies. Like they don't talk or anything. Some people buy like clothes for them and stuff. Some people think they're like devils.
Yeah,
Like
because they look kind of scary.
yeah,
Right?
but I think they're cute.
yeah,
like,
I think they're cute. And
yeah,
people use them as keychains, right?
yeah.
I was walking around the neighborhood a couple of days ago, and a dog had a Labubu on its harness, like on its
Oh
back.
my god.
So everyone's having Labubus, and I didn't like understand it, maybe because I'm just like a million years old, but like because I was just like, what is Labu like? But now like my boyfriend found like the 3D print like file for the Labubus, and my mom couldn't. My mom was just in town last weekend. She couldn't find any Labubus because my mom wanted one, so my boyfriend 3D printed her one.
No
And
way.
what are the fake ones called? They're called like
Lafufus.
Lapupus or Lafufus. So we printed
Yeah.
a Lafufu for my mom. And then my boyfriend's like, oh, this is fun. And so he's just been making Lafufus in my house.
It's like seriously gambling because even on the Pop Mart app, you play kind of like a game to click on an empty box. So like you also don't know what you're getting. It's a blind box. So like that's why people keep buying them because then they want certain colors. And then there's a secret, which is a rare one. So like this guy was selling them at cost because he was just trying to get a secret. So
what
he
is
kept
at cost?
like for how much they sell on the site.
No, but like how much is that?
If you get one from a blinds box, they're $28, but then if you pay like $6 of shipping, it comes to like 34.
Oh, okay. And
But
then they're going for how much? Like people are upselling
the
them.
newest collection, I've seen them as much as like 60 to 70
Oh my gosh.
for one.
Wow. Wow. It's just like the hot new toy this year. Damn.
Yeah. It is quite mesmerizing how popular they've gotten because
Yeah.
they're just like so random. It's like it could be a million other things, but I was told Lisa from Blackpink would wear them on her bag a lot in Asia early on, and then it kind of got really big there and then like made its way over west.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a phenomenon that I'm just starting to learn about, and they're cute. I like them, but you know what I mean.
I'm
But I
kind of
just
like,
was
how long?
confused.
Like, if I buy some now, I'm like, are they still gonna be popular by Christmas? I feel like yes.
I feel like yeah, because yeah, it's only like 5 months away. Oh, that's
They're fun to
depressing,
like
but
give them as a gift because then
Yeah.
it's like opening them, like you kind of
Seeing
see
which
which
one
one
you
you
have.
want. Yeah, it's really fun.
I love it. Okay, do you have a lesson or a message that you want to share with listeners?
Yeah, I would say to just be consistent. Like, I've never skipped 2 weeks of my newsletter in 4 years. I've skipped like 1 week, but I will not allow myself to skip two in a row because then it becomes a slippery slope for me. So I think everyone's doing amazing things. It's just about the people that stay hustling and consistent and break through.
That is such good advice. What is one thing you wish you knew when you were first starting out?
To not care as much. I feel like there's so much I never used to post because I'm like, oh, I don't want to like annoy people or I don't want to do this. And it's like, I wish I did because it's not annoying people. So yeah, I would say don't like hold back as much. Like if you want to do something, just do it.
Absolutely. All right, James, this has been so much fun. I could have asked you a million more questions and this could have been 3 hours long, but I won't keep you. Where can everyone find you, check out your work, support your work, all of the things? Tell us everything.
Yeah. So my newsletter, you can sign up at jimmyrocks.com, Jimmy ROX, and then my Instagram's the same name.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, James. This has
Yeah,
been a
thank
blast.
you so much. This has been really fun for me.
Of course.